Hi, I'm Jonathan Parks of Jonathan's Nature Crafts, and welcome to this series where we challenge ourselves to carve a set of Santas that are of both a cosmic Santa and an Uncle Sam Santa pattern. As I had had not so much experience in carving these and kind of wanted to keep the channel going, I decided to record the series in April where I kind of did the challenge series. And each original video was of a different length and kind of just depended on what kind of time we had, what state of mind I was in, what instructions I was given at the time, and that was why they all kind of ended at different places. So whenever I ended an original video, I would kind of give a little closing remark and give a little goodbye or something at the end just to kind of signify that it was the end of that recording. But given the possibilities, it turned out that the videos were of all these different lengths and couldn't be made for enough of a series to last. And it just so happened that for the steps involved, the series had to go into August just to keep it long enough, even though it was originally recorded to show up in July as a Christmas in July series. So I decided to take all the original videos and put them into one combined video that I decided to divide up into 15 segments. So even though there may be places in the video where it may seem like I'm ending it as of where I end a certain recording, the end of the video in this series will actually be at the place where you see a big black rectangle that says in white letters, "To be continued." So, thank you for watching and hope you will enjoy the series. So, they're just special and unique for us. And I can tell you all that for little bitty things, come down here where we come to the boots, kind of try to get a little thoughts and gestures in our souls and see what happens here. Just knowing that when it's all done, there's just something that comes out of it where we chip along the freaking backs and just kind of like just make it so we're going to get a little busier with everything that we have to do. So finally, just working little ways, I say, just seeing what's coming here, making our way in us, and just, you know, fancy little work, I say. Fancy little ways to do a little wooden Santa Claus. So finally just shave off the boot legging and kind of take care of that in its place. And this is how the boots turn out at the bottom and the top. And with little things, I say, just kind of get extra work right into place with everything that we have to do here. So with what we're having here, just make it so we're going to see fine dandy little awesome people just being made out of a fine artistic piece of wood. As far as I can tell, I think we're getting down to the last steps of the carving part. There might be a little sanding to do here and there. We might get down to that, but I know one thing for sure, that this is just one of the things where we have to see. Hopefully this won't be too long a series, but we know we just kind of work our ways up to every little thing we do, and sometimes, just sometimes, you may not recall every single person that's ever been around to kind of see a thing or two that you do, but it'll all come down to what we all see and fancy little things we make out of all our special little decors and all the things we kind of want to find and fire up and work up to try to make our holidays brighter as they do come along. And even for a little Christmas in July, it's an Uncle Sam Santa can come in as a good piece just because it's fancy, you know? So I say for one little last step, maybe there's just something we can do around the little ruffles of these robes. And I say for now, it could be a good time to kind of bring this to an end, because as for the day that I record this, I've just kind of got things a little busy in hand and might just need to kind of come back just to kind of do the little ruffle part. So thank you all for coming on, and hope to see you in the next video. Now, on the day that I record this video, there's a special event in the evening that I've gotten all dressed up to attend. That's why you see me dressed the way I am, but we'll pick up where we left off in the last one, just kind of like get a little gouging done around this little area that is the ruffle of the little skirt or robe, and just put those little spots right into their little place where they're going to need to be, and just kind of fancy it out the little bestest ways we can, just to try to get some extra work done in just the right little freaking spot. I say heck to all this biz and all the things, you know, that happen in my life. So I say of all things, you know, just kind of get a little bit of something in where we kind of get the little ruffle made out here. Just for a little work and knowledge, I say that we're going to try to get a little more done in this place and see how much more we will plan to do as we try to work things out a little bit more with the skirt and the ruffles and everything that comes in place. So this is just my little fancy way of getting a little work put into a skinny piece. Of course, this Santa, it might come out a little bit skinny, but you know, sometimes, just sometimes, some of these can kind of turn out that way when you just put your freaking work right into them, just to make them so they're going to be bright humored and shiny little lights to maneuver us. And for one little thing, I say just kind of get little spots done in right where we can just get the good old robe down in its great little place to know whatever the heck is happening here. Just doing these special little designs can just come its way right into the fine little piece we do. Come down to where we got to narrow it down a little more in some other little spots as well. Kind of take what we have away from everything that gets involved in the little tiny bits of whatever the heck else we kind of got to do with little piece, you know, and just kind of get it in its own spot where it just freaking needs to be. So putting all that away, we just got to find a little work right in the little habit of the thing. So I say, with just this ideal in mind, you know, we're getting down to where we have just what we know of everything that comes, and finally how I got the ruffle done out. There's another little ruffle on this one as well we got to make in. So with all my busy times ahead, I'm just saying that I am hoping this could be the last of the carving part of the series, and for little tests we take, just put in a little extra soul and mercy down to the fine last little bit of the work we make, and just put in some extra little spots to make old Santa Claus have just a little working out in his own dadgum system. So finally I say that there's just these little places to make, and we're going to get dusted off of chips in a little bit, trying to kind of take care of these matters as we need to. And so this is just how we've rounded it off, and there's a little bit more rounding off to do down here as well, kind of get it all just freaking right in the place where we need to see it. And just with all the things we're working on, kind of have fine little works come into place. And to tell you a little more, we're going to try to kind of take the ruffle and kind of shave along here, try to get rid of this extra stuff we have that we may not need, and just kind of like show a little grace and truth to the work we do. While we have to stay clean for an event tonight, we're not going to sand. But I tell you, these little wooden chips can just be brushed off easily. And so I say for this video, it may not be long, may not last long, and so we can kind of take these steps into mind and get them right into place and shape. So finally, I tell you all, with just a little thing or two, we got to just round off a little bit more, come down to the last bit of the ruffle, and take little matters down into the ditches of life and destruction and mayhem. And we just got to find nice little piece, just come right out of here for our love and grace and our safety and everything else that comes about. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get a little sanding video in here sometime, but I'm saying for now, maybe most of this we could say would be done, but maybe just a thing or two we need to do. There's a mustache on one of these cosmic Santas we forgot to put the work into before, so we got to come back and put that little detail in, try to get it in its own little space where we can see the mustache and everything just come the heck right out of it, you know, and just kind of put a little spot into it where we can just work awesome mighty things, just to try to afford what we know of life and everything else that it has to give. Finally come down to this here, maybe with this other one too, there can be probably a little shaving off we need to do of the saw marks just to try to get it in its proper little awesome shape, just to kind of see what we need of it and kind of put it in its own little place and just kind of show awesome work that is being made out of a fine sculpture of art for everyone to look at and to see. So I say there's probably going to be some sanding to do as we go further on, but as for this video, it's probably about the end, and I'm going to check and see how my YouTube is and what my video schedule is already like before I decide if we do a sanding video. So I want to thank you all again for coming on and watching, and if this does end up being the end of the series, I thank you all for being here, and because this was a good challenge just to kind of get all this carving done and get it in a good place for us all. And I'd be happy to kind of see you all around a little bit longer and a little further when we do another little challenge or step-by-step or instructional video or anything else we might have in the future. So thank you all for coming around, and I'll see you all around as well.